So let's dive into some elemental chaos, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do that. So if you missed session 1 about the elemental chaos arc, it is up on YouTube as well as here on our history and lore section on Twitch. So last time we began investigating the ruins of Sil-En, which was discovering an old Caraxian outpost and took a portal through a water elemental plane, which took us really, really far north. We then traveled to faraway Tavar after passing through Shinkik and began traveling towards Ai, which was this lighthouse frozen up way up north, to see what was inside. Once there, we learned about the Caraxians and met Torin. We didn't know his name at the time, but we met Torin, a human monk frozen in time, and fought dragon who had taken up residence in the city. Sean, I tried to make the recap shorter so that people actually go and watch it, so I don't just drop all the details, and that's just for you.
You're doing great.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
And then when the dragon died, it revealed a shimmering portal behind to places unknown. So we pick up where the dragon falls at session 12, called The Dawning Chaos, on December 9th of 2018. Matt, do you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
You take this one.
Okay, so before entering the portal, unsure of where it may take us, because unlike the last portal we went through, we were really not sure where it was going to go. We decide to investigate. Where do you think in the city we go first?
So you've got this pugilist with you who can't speak the language.
Yes.
So he's not going to be much use.
But we can understand him.
You can understand. I think you're going to follow his lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be like, oh, we got to go. Yanis, you're going to have to help me out on this one. Where does my man Torin want to go after his big ice nap?
We learn that Torin is a soldier.
You want to go to the armor. You want to go to the barracks. You want to.
You are absolutely correct, Sean.
Yeah.
So we go to
that's
the
where you get them guns.
Yes.
You get them guns.
Yes.
There.
So
them
we
boom
find
tubes.
there are many guns there. And Kokenee, in an investigation check of the room, finds a long gun that seems very ornate, and it seems to call to him. So he's had, he's heard this thing where, we've had like this weird call, hearing a voice that said, actually, no, we don't hear that yet. Sorry, that's my bad. We're kind of going through the city, and he feels a pull to one of these guns. So he picks it up. It doesn't work. He has no idea how it works. So we just decide to take it with us. We see that there's a shard inside it, one of those shards of Erathis that we had seen in Shinkik, in the mechanical automaton who's there, whose name was?
Cogsworth.
No, this is the one in Shinkik.
Shinsworth.
His name was Crank.
Oh, the little one. You should have said the little one.
I'm sorry for not being specific.
Yeah, that was
your the little one, little
fault.
Crank.
Yeah. So we
going for Claxbrand.
So and Neppy is in the armory with him, and Tim had me roll a religion check. So I rolled a religion check. I got decently high on it, and Neppy also finds a gun in the room that calls to her, and she's like, "Why?" I was like, I have no idea what this is, and I was like, but I need to pick this up, so I take it. Where do we go next? So that's our investigation of the armory. Where do we go next?
Check out it's got to be the barracks. Like, anybody alive?
We didn't go to the barracks. No.
Then the Church of Erathis. If we're hearing things, we gotta follow that voice.
What are you saying, Yanis?
Torin had family, didn't he?
He did. But he's
not at this point.
Not at this point. He knew that his family had left the city before everything happened, and he had recalled saying goodbye to them as they were leaving the city. So you're right. We did go to the temple, and we follow a story that is told down the relief of a staircase. We see some images that are similar to the ones we see in the sinkhole, and we saw a depiction of 4 different races. What races were they?
Human.
No.
Are they the genasi? Are they the various elemental genasi?
They're not elemental genasi, but they are elemental, considering the planes. So what had we seen in the sinkhole in Sil-En?
You got them water boys. You
Yep,
got them
Tritons
Aarakocra.
and
You got
Aarakocra, yes.
them what are the Bernie lads? Are they because they might be fire genasi,
Nope.
or they could just be dragonborn.
Dragonborn, you're correct.
Oh hell
yes.
yeah! Oh, I'm going for the earth elemental
Come on,
plane.
you got it.
Which giants gotta be?
Nope.
Patch?
Nope.
Minotaur?
You're closer with giants.
Dow.
Goliaths.
Oh, Goliaths.
Yes. So we then, we see the depiction of these 4 races as we go down the stairs, and then we see 4 larger images, and we start learning about it's written there in this kind of language that we can kind of sort of understand, and Nepi, Nepi and Kokenee and Kali are kind of able to figure it out with their both pseudo understanding of the celestial language and also Nepi's basic understanding of religion and kind of what happened. So we learn about the 4 primordial titans. Do you remember the names of the 4 primordial titans?
Oh, you bet. You bet we do, Yanis.
So
yes, we do.
Let's start with the Earth primordial titan. What is his name?
Oh.
The one that Clack worships?
I know who he is.
This one should be all you, Sean. You shouldn't need my help on this one. This
Fuck
is the
you,
one...
Yanis.
Sean, what does he look
together.
like?
He's a big wolf. He's
Yes.
a big
Good.
wolf, and his name... All I can think is fucking Glittergall. It's a big guttural Gerber. He's a big Gerber dog.
So close. In the sake of time, I'm gonna save you. It's Groombar.
Fuck you! God damn it! Fucking Groombar Glittergall.
The air primordial.
Yeah. We know this one. Yes.
Dusty.
Welcome
No,
to
it's
the
not
game,
Habath. It's not Habath.
I love this
That's the
game.
dust
What does it look like?
Yes.
It's a big bird.
Not quite.
No.
It's a big cloud. I've never
It's
seen
a
it. I don't
big
know. It's never
cloud.
come up.
Cumulus.
Oh, God.
Have you told us this before?
Yes.
So many
We've
times.
had
Oh,
so
God.
multiple
It's the
episodes
goddess.
about this.
It's the goddess that Chi follows.
Avation.
Starts
No.
with an A. It does.
Affago.
Matt, can you save them,
okay.
please? Matt,
Affogato?
save them.
Yeah, so we're looking at a giant winged serpent
That's the one.
named Akkadi.
Akkadi.
Okay. Next one.
Skrillex
We are-
is the fire one. It's something like Skrillex. It's great. Grimbix.
It is actually, Sean, you got it in one. It is
Skrillex.
Grim Dix.
No, it's
Grolix.
Garrix.
Garrix. God
Oh, you
damn
were
it.
so
With the
I
symbol-
am
symbol.
firing so hard at 70% on my brain right now, and I can't use the
You're
other
a
30.
solid mediocre at the moment.
It's not bad.
And Garrix
Lore
is
Club
a
is
large.
disappointed.
Lore Club's deeply disappointed. A large
Damn,
two-headed gold
Lore
and
Club's
red
my enemy.
dragon crawling out of a fiery volcano, and then the water primordial, who is a large tentacled creature.
Yanis, you have to take a kick at one of these cans.
This is my favorite game.
Water creature.
Bracken the Kraken?
Bracken the Kraken. It is. Yes, got it.
It's like a bit. It's like a soupy do. It's
It starts with an I. Yeah.
It starts with an I?
Yeah.
eepy.
Impy.
Matt, save him, please.
Okay, so we're looking at here.
Epusium.
We have a large
it is-
tentacled creature
Hydra.
named Istitia.
Right.
My soul just left my body.
Also known as Impy.
Yeah. So in the next relief, we keep traveling down these stairs, and we see a depiction of a humanoid woman with outstretched hands, and we see the symbols of the current gods kind of displayed across. Except there's no Nephthisiket. There's no symbol of Nephthisiket, but there is a symbol of the Raven Queen present. So Nepi starts kind of pulling. She's like, "This is very long time ago. This is like pre-Nephthisiket. This is Dawn War. This is what this is." We also see a symbol of Erathis there, which we wouldn't see because Erathis is not a god that is currently part of this pantheon, like lost to time. And we see a depiction of other humanoids with their weapons drawn. That seems to be a telling of a story of a great war, which we put together as the Dawn War. So we keep traveling down this large staircase, and we see a door with writing on it. There is a hole in the door about the size of a small forearm. Like you could stick your arm into it. The writing on the door in that kind of proto-celestial language says the key to the inner sanctum. Who of Blackwater puts their arm in the door?
Oh, that's Kokenee. Kokenee loves sticking his arms in things. He
Callie.
almost lost his hand the one time.
Nope.
Callie?
Nope. Too
Is it
big.
Neppy?
Too big.
Oh, Yana.
Yana.
Oh,
Or
it's a
spooky
baby
at
arm.
that point.
Yes, a small forearm. So Yana
Oh,
sticks her hand in
excuse
the
me.
door, and she's the only one small enough, and the door unlocks. So inside, what do we find? You talked about him just earlier.
Cogman.
The Warforged.
Yeah.
Crank.
Cogman.
No.
Cogman.
Cogman, the big one, not the
Cogman,
baby
yeah.
boy.
So Cogman, inside we smell the comforts of home. Stew cooking. We see candles are burning in what seems to be a foyer with an archway at the back. In the archway is a human-like figure made of machinery and metal. He's wearing a vest that has embroidery of cogs on it, and he's a warforged. We've never seen one before. Fun fact about Cogman, he is the first ever warforged. He was
Oh.
the first one ever created. So we introduce ourselves, and he says his name is Cogman, and he asks if we've come to see the High Priestess. And we're like, what? There's nobody in this town that's alive. How is somebody here? He says that she's not well, and he has been taking care of her. So he takes us down and introduces us to the High Priestess of Erathis, Lillian Turark. She has old silvery hair, and she has very long silvery hair. She's in beautiful, beautiful robes with embroidery of cogs and things all over them, and she seems to be sleeping. She's wearing a talisman of Erathis, and Neppy does a medicine check. How old do you think Lillian is?
God, she's got to be like 3,000 years, give or take.
She's about 2,300 years old. Maybe
Oof.
not a little bit more than
I
that.
think that's covered in the give and take.
Absolutely, give or take. Yeah.
Give and take 7 centuries.
So Lillian awakens slightly as we kind of come around her bedside, and her eyes settle on
Kokenee.
Kokenee.
Because he's
Yes.
so handsome, and he's got such a good shirt.
So chiseled, a chiseled jawline
shirt.
with nice shirts. So Kokenee, without words, gets this scent. Like, I think Tim had him roll an insight check at this point, and he got the sense that she wished to die and to pass on. And she took the pendant off her neck and offers it to him. So Kokenee replies that his heart belongs to another. And
Now let's cut to the Matt cam.
yeah.
Matt, what did you mean by that? What did
Sean.
Kokenee mean by that?
I think I'm picking up how this game goes. Sean, what do you think I meant by that?
Yes, you're doing so
Oh,
good.
no.
You're doing so good.
Turning it around on me. I mean, because you
'Cause
couldn't have.
His dad's got his heart. Or
Oh
Belsoon's
yeah,
got his
that
heart.
wasn't a romantic thing. I
It
thought
wasn't a
he was
romantic
like,
thing.
"Oh,
His
you
heart
can't be my
literally belongs
Valentine.
to
I
another
picked
person.
one."
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Shit. See, this is why we have Yanis.
Yes,
Yes,
is
you
the
are-
I'm here for that
Yanis,
high
you're
school
spot
romance,
on.
and Yanis is like, no. He's like captain.
Matt, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, I
Go
love
for it.
that.
Do it.
Yeah, so he literally meant his heart belonged to another. Because he stole the plate in his chest, and he was like, "Listen, I can't." He's sort of saying like, "I can't be the high priest of a religion, or like whatever you're asking me to do when like I could die whenever." So as he does that, sorry?
No, old lady.
Well,
I'm not gonna take your
he says that
necklace.
his heart belongs to another, and as he does this, a cold wind radiates through the room, and we hear a voice, a female voice, say, "Find me." He takes the holy symbol regardless, and as he takes the symbol, we see peace come over Lillian as she settles down into the bed. Her breathing slowly stops.
Yeah. We watch her die in front of us.
Cogman also gives Torin a gift. Sean, what is it?
Or Yanis. What is it? What does he give to her?
Yanis, please help me.
Does he give Torn a gun?
No, he gives Torn a spear, a big fighty thing. No, he doesn't. use a
Smaller
spear.
fighting thing.
Whoa, a knife.
A knife.
Yes.
He gives
Big
Torin
knife.
2 ceremonial daggers,
Okay.
upon which are inscribed in High Tongue the Order of the Crystal Heart. Cogman says that he will care for the priestess and tend to what is needed, and that the party should go. We bid them farewell and make our way towards the portal. As we enter the portal, we are immediately hit with something.
Wait.
Not physically, a wave of something.
It's so cold.
So
It's so cold because you're in the plane of ice, baby.
Cold.
You're in Erathis' house now.
Yes.
We have
You and
no-
her big dog.
We have no idea where we are, but we are super cold.
Super
We don't even know that we've changed planes. We just know that we're somewhere else.
Yeah.
We see a tower carved out of ice similar to that of the Mother's Eye, except that it seems to be shifting and moving. As we watch, the doors are kicked open, and we hear giants, one of them saying, "She's here."
Because Kokenee could speak giant at that point, couldn't he? Or was that orc? How did we? Oh no, they said it in common. They said it in
common. Kokenee used to speak orc. He does not anymore.
He does not.
I used it 0 times.
Yeah.
We haven't come across a lot of orcs in our travels.
I don't believe we've seen an orc. The crystal shards of Erathis we have are glowing, is what they say.
We'd been carrying, no, that's how was happening.
Oh, sorry, that's ours. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd been carrying those shards of Erathis. Like Kokenee had one in the gun that he had. Neppy had one in the gun that she had, and we'd picked up a couple others that we had found along the way, and they were inert when we saw them. They were not like shining at all. And then when we go into this place, they are like bright blue. They're like a bright icy blue, and we're just like, what the fuck is happening? And so go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you think we do next, folks?
So there's giants running towards us. What do we do?
You gotta fight those giants.
We do.
You got Callie in the party at this point, right?
We do.
Callie wants to fight those giants. Torin wants to fight those giants. Torin's boiling to fucking take out those daggers. And
I will say, Torin was certainly the OG of wanting to sacrifice himself for the party.
Absolutely. That's where
like you think Callie is hard to manage now with her just trying to jump in front of things. Torin was actively like, I want to die in battle, essentially.
Yeah. Very much a Viking death. Very much. Yeah.
But yeah, so we kill the giants, and we enter the tower.
And we start going up the stairs. So we
come
to
there.
I'm sorry, the notes here aren't perfectly accurate.
Take it.
So we come to this we see that like there's stairways up, and to get across these stairways, there's a bunch of pedestals that we have to jump across. So there's 12 floating pedestals with a bunch of tiles that are after it. So what we're going to do is we're going to name this. So there's depictions on them, and we're going to try. This is a gods test. This is a Sean and Yanis are going to learn us some gods test.
Oh, we're ready. We do this every 3 episodes,
I know.
And I never remember any of them.
Well, then you're going to have to start learning. I encourage you to play along to see if you're faster than Sean and Yanis, knowing the gods.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm ready.
So we come
you guys
across
got
4
this.
of them. So the first one we come across is a skull with an eye that is kind of has some smoke emanating from it. Well, who is this god?
Horde.
No.
This is layup. You got this.
What?
This is an evil god. Think about the eye.
Isn't Cord the bad one? Oh,
No.
The eye of fucking V. It starts with a V. Vecna? Is it Vecna? Is he in this universe?
Yeah.
So
oh, fuck. We haven't even talked about Vecna.
Yeah.
That's just, fucking OG fucking 4E brain D&D knowledge.
Yes.
Team up. What else you got?
So there's a tile that has Vecna on it. There's a staff with an eye.
And that's not also Vecna?
No. Good god. God that we don't really talk about. God that Letters has a bit of a beef with.
Oh, this is Ioun.
Yes. Sean, 2 for 2, doing well.
If you're on the shit list, I remember who you are forever.
A dragon.
Bahamut.
Yes. And a cog.
Erathis.
So good. And so we realize that we have to step on one of these tiles.
Erathis tile.
Yes.
You want to step on Erathis tile.
You're correct. So originally, someone misstepped on the Vecna tile and took a bunch of damage. Who do you think it was?
Kokenee.
Who loves eyes? That might have been spooky being like,
Nope.
no? Was it you, Neppy?
It was. I was.
Why did you step on the Vecna tile?
One of these things is not like the other.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. One is an evil god, the rest are good gods. Okay, so we come to the next landing. Matt, take it away. So there's 4 tiles again, and we're playing the same game.
Yeah. So we have the next landing, 4 tiles. Number 1, a hammer with an anvil.
Morden, fucking next up. Let's do it.
Easy. A spiral. And this one was something that we did not know at the time. We looked and we were very confused
but
about
have
it.
had a lot of interaction with this.
Chained
animal.
Oblivion.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done.
Oh.
Next, we have Shackles.
That's also not the Chained Oblivion.
Shackles.
Fucking
shackles,
these guys
shackles,
come for
shackles.
each other's brand. Oh, that's oh my god.
Evil
The
god.
crawling king.
Yes. What's his
Oh
Oh
name?
my god. John,
Oh,
you're doing so good.
garble sneeze. I don't know
Starts
what
with
the
a T. It starts with a T.
Thumbelina. I don't know. I'm not gonna know his
Tiamat?
name.
Okay,
but
so we got
Torog.
What-
Torog.
But you got the crawling
Torog.
king. That is
Okay.
points for that. You're doing great.
So that's a good 70. The last one is a half clam.
Like a half
half
shell.
clam. Melora.
Yes, very good.
And which tile did we have to step on?
You gotta step on Melora, baby.
Absolutely.
Because
So
they're
we-
girlfriends.
So we step here and we are transported up to the next landing.
Okay, I'll do this.
4
one.
more tiles.
4 more tiles.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, baby.
So
Second verse, same as the first.
there is a spider.
Loaf.
Yes. Sean is fucking on
Fucking
fire.
drow spider queen. Get out of here with that deep lore.
3 wavy lines.
The storm fucking guy. The storm gang, man. The
Nope.
wavy lines. Corlin, because
Nope.
I love going with the flow. I'm a Pisces.
Nope.
Yanis, take a guess. Take a guess.
I say
Make-
no, it's not chord.
It's a goddess.
Goddess. Wavy lines. Water. No?
What I'm in the tomb of the Raven Queen. This was the room that we had to do betting in.
Oh, wait. Glitter girl?
What is the wavy lines?
Who do the bet?
Avandra.
Avandra, everyone's
what does that have to
favorite.
do
The
with lines,
Ringo
though?
of the
That's just her symbol.
pantheon.
Is
Ah.
3 wavy lines. And then there's
She's got to work on her branding.
3
Yeah.
triangles that are kind of intersected together.
Oh, well, that's Zelda. That's
Easy. Next.
easy. Thank you. Next.
This is an evil
Th-
god. You're wrong.
Three triangles. Evil god.
We haven't had much interaction with this one. God of the Hells.
Ganondorf. It's
Asmodeus.
Ganondorf.
Asmodeus.
It's Asmodeus.
It's
We've
not
never
impossible.
talked about him on the
Obviously.
stream in any capacity.
Yeah. And final one here, the head of a raven.
There's another. Oh.
Raven Queen.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah,
which
we know the
tile do we
Raven
step
Queen.
on?
You can step onto Raven Queen.
We do. We
Mhm.
do. Okay, Matt, then what happens next?
So
4
we
more
get
tiles.
this is step
4 more tiles with more
step
obscure
4 of
gods.
20. Now we're getting into Titans. Let's go. We get to the
God
top
of
floor.
puff pastry. God of indoor plumbing. That's Mario. That's Mario.
Okay, keep
So,
going, Matt. Keep going.
There is we get to the top platform and there is no floor where we need to go. We are in the upper region of the domed spire with a bridge that is drawn up that seemingly needs to come down. On the top of that bridge, we see a small glowing orb near a symbol of Erathis. Near us is a bowl with 2 golden spheres. Kokenee loads them into his gun. Nepenthe blesses...
Why though? Why? That seems like a bit of a leap.
Well, I think that's what
We go on
Matt-
faith. We go on faith. We go on
faith.
And
We
I
go on
think
faith.
that point that's what Kokenee was like felt that he was like, okay, this. And we had also had a little bit of background because we had seen the gnomes in Shinkick.
Oh, you know
loaded
how guns work. You know how
generally,
guns
but
work
we
at
never
this point.
But Kokenee had never fired one. Okay, so
And if
go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say, if we're looking for one thing that nowadays Kokenee is talented at, if Tim's game was exclusively bridges that needed to be shot, have orbs shot from very far away, that's where you call Kokenee. That's
where
the
you call Kokenee
that's the
Buckwild.
one. Yeah.
So 2 people help him. Who are they and what do they do to help? Because we
With
know we
loading
need
the
Kokenee
orbs
to
into
make
the
these
gun?
shots. We know we
Need to make the
him
shot.
to make these shots. So there's 2 people who bless him in some way.
Well, that's going to be Neppy
Guidance.
throwing
Neppy
on.
does. She blesses him.
I think it's going
and-
to be enhanceability, or
I didn't
do you
cast
just do
enhanceability.
bless?
No, I didn't have enhanceability prepared at that point. So I blessed him. I had to make a religion check. She prayed for him to Erathis and Neptisiket. And does he make the first shot?
No.
He does.
He
make-
does?
He makes the first
Oh,
shot.
he's so good.
So someone else blesses him in some way.
I
Who
feel like
helps him?
that's got to be Torin.
Yeah.
He's in it, and I think he just like fucking
Points out
says
how to
says
shoot.
some of that unintelligible. I think he uses the help action, and is like, "Look at that." Or does
Oh.
it get deeper?
look at the orb.
No, he
That-
does
shoot
not do
that.
that.
What does he do? How
Yeah,
does
take
how
it away.
can Torin possibly help a guy with a gun? Torin's a punchy man.
Does he make
Well,
light?
Torin. I don't know if I'm assuming you guys have talked about this before,
We've
but
never talked about this, I don't think.
One of the things that was very defining of Torin was that he was a very illustrated man.
Very tattooed.
He was covered in tattoos that provided a narrative towards his character.
Yes.
And he gave Kokenee a cog tattoo on
Right there. Little stick and poke.
right there,
Right there.
sort of right here.
So you took one shot. You're like, all right, 20-minute break as I get
A
fucking
tattoo.
inked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Which-
does he make the second shot?
Yes, absolutely.
He absolutely does.
Got mommy's favorite tattoo right there on his heart.
That's what it says, actually. Yeah.
It says
Mommy's
mommy's
favorite.
Yeah.
So the bridge descends and we cross, entering the workshop. We see a female figure hunched over what?
A fucking tinker table with her big, awesome dog at her feet.
Yes.
We don't talk enough about that dog.
We don't. That's a long-term goal for Kokenee. Add it to the list.
Get a dog.
A dog. Or build a dog. One of the two. We'll see. But add that to the pile. Bridge descends. Yeah, so she is hunched over a small workbench. Hard at work.
Making Kokenee version 2.0.
Yeah, making
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
human-like skeleton, but made of metal,
She
upon which
speaks.
you could tightly stretch skin across.
Don't give away all the secrets, Sean. This
is what we do here.
She speaks to
Chatwater.
us, thanking us for coming and for freeing her.
Nice.
She blesses Neppy's gun
She
and then
does.
encourages her to pray to her own goddess.
Yeah.
And then she turns to Kokenee, and she names Kokenee her champion and vassal on the material plane, her high priest, blessing his gun, which alight with blue runes and divine energy.
Now, as she does this, what does she do next? So she's just named Kokenee. Her high priest said, "This is your dang gun. Go out there in the world and shoot people with it, because it works now." What does she do next? It's got to have to do with Kokenee specifically.
I fucking. Here's a gun. Go kill some people. I love you. You're my vassal. You're my champion boy.
So we foreshadowed a little to this before.
You know what she's been fucking making? A fucking holy symbol. That's what she was working on the table, and she says, "I made this for you because I'm mommy and you're my favorite."
Well, actually,
Go forth and-
Lily and Turark had already given Kokenee the holy symbol.
Oh
so
shit,
she's got
that's
it.
right.
But she places a hand on Kokenee's chest. And what does she sense?
Oh,
The
your
heart.
heart belongs to another situation.
So what does she
So
do
she's
about
like, she says, "Hey, this is gonna happen, but come see me when it's done, because I've got an upgrade for you." And she gestures to the metallic skeleton on the table.
that? So what she does is she puts a hand on Kokenee's chest. She's like, "Okay." And a wave of blue energy radiates over him. And she says, "I've done what I can. I hope it will be enough when the time comes." And when did we see that play out?
Oh,
When
because
the
he didn't die. He
The
just
heart
got put
gets
into,
ripped
like,
out and he got
stasis.
protected.
Yes. So like this is session 12. And that happened in session like
Way later.
50 something, 70 something. So like wild. And then she turns to Torin. And what is she?
She's like, "You gotta speak common, brother. You can't depend on Yana."
Yes.
Bah!
Yes.
And throws the common language into his skull.
She absolutely does. She gives him the ability to speak common. And she also names him her conduit. And she
Ooh.
names him Torin, the last Caraxian. Because
The
technically,
Lastian.
because technically at this point,
The last.
he is the last Caraxian. She also lets us know one more thing. She lets us know that the Titans are stirring, and someone is attempting to release them.
Oh.
So we have to go deal with that. She discusses the end of days, which pings for one person in the party. The end
That's
of days.
Neppy.
Well,
That's
Neppy.
Neppy's,
right.
I gotta stop the
So
gentleman
Neppy's
bringing
like,
chaos.
Neppy's like, holy fuck. I thought I was looking for one person. What if I'm looking for 4 people? That's what Neppy thought in that
Now
moment.
I would love to dig in here since we got you, Matt. What was Kokenee going through when he's like, I got this gun. Yes, I want a tat. Bang bang. And now I'm talking to this lady. Like that seemed like a big decision.
So here's what I love about this session. I think this is probably the most important session that Kokenee's ever played. Like this was like the moment that his character fundamentally changed in direction. But you ever seen like in a movie where there's like a sort of like a quiet kid and like because they don't speak, things just continue to get out of hand? That's basically what this session was.
Such a good metaphor.
Is like he never actively made a yes decision in almost any of this. It was mostly like he was like basically very unprepared and showing up being like, hey, what's going on? And this person's like, yeah, you come here. And so he walked over and then they put the necklace on him and then she dies. And he's like, I guess I have this now. And so, and that's basically like the series of events continuously all the way till the end here. Is mostly that where it's just like, what is going on? But I think that the thing that really was important for him here was that he felt absolutely incapable and unprepared for the burden that had just been placed upon him. There was hope. You know, he'd always hoped that the life that he had set out for him would not be the life that he had ended, but he wasn't. That was an unrealistic goal. When Velsum is the person who is in charge of you, you have to be, pretty special to change that lot in life. And that there wasn't a pathway for him to do that. And there hadn't been. And this was the first sort of glimpse of light of maybe this could be different. So I think that was basically like the two things of like, maybe this is my opportunity for things to be different, but also I do not know what I'm doing. And I have no ability to do this. He's never been in a temple. He is not religious. He has not been given any idea what religion is or does, short of seeing what Neppy does. And being like, I guess that's religion. But Neppy's religion is extraordinarily like intricate and built on ceremony and, very, very, very specific. And so his view of religion is like, oh, we pray 5 times a day with intricate ceremonies that are choreographed, that need to be studied and all of this. And Kokenee's like, I have no idea how to do that. This is something that I don't think that I can do. But it's sort of been put upon him at this point that he's going to have to try.
And I think this was a cool moment too, because like I know you had been chatting. Obviously, I don't know the whole discussion, but I know you'd been chatting with Tim about multiclassing.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about that process too? Because I think the little behind the scenes there of the mechanics and the narrative kissing is always something we love at Chatwater. So that's the narrative piece about Kokenee. But tell us about the mechanics piece.
The thing that I really liked about this was I was undecided about what Kokenee was going to multiclass into. I knew that like the fighter part of him was sort of at the time very attached to Velsum. He was a fighter because Velsum and Alamir made him be a fighter. And so I thought, one, I like Matt found being a fighter not super exciting. It had been, especially the way I'd done it, it hadn't been designed to be a character with longevity. Because it had been designed for a one-shot, and so I had done a low-int Eldritch Knight being like, oh, well, this doesn't work, but it works for a one-shot because there's like 6 spells that work, and so I'll just pick those ones up, and it'll be super good, but it doesn't grow, it doesn't work. Growing, because later it's like you need to actually be able to cast wizard stuff for it to have any value. And so I was like sort of getting growing pains into that as I'm like, there's not a lot here for me in this class. And so I've been talking to Tim, being like, I think I'm going to multi-class. I don't know what it is, but I think I'm going to multi-class. And here's like the 3 or 4 things I was thinking. So one of the ones was that we'd seen the boom tubes at Shinkink, and I was like, I want one of those. And so I'd been thinking about like a ranger and going into like being rangy stuff. And I had been thinking about rogue and going into like, I was like, we don't, we could really use some lockpicky stuff and some sneak attacky stuff, and all of that would be cool. And rogue would be, Kokenee becomes a lot sneakier and stealthier. And then I was like, also like most clerics don't work, but I could see him being a war cleric. The action economy is actually super good because it gets the bonus action attack, which allowed Kokenee to make a 3rd attack. And the channel divinities are good. And I liked the idea of, at the time, being able to buff myself with spells. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of stuff early in the war cleric tree that's like, you cast this, and all of a sudden your weapon is a magic weapon, or it deals an extra 1d4 damage, that sort of stuff. So all that was super appealing. So I was like, this is my list of things. And Tim's like, I like war cleric. Let's do that. And I'm like, okay, like, how do we want to do this? He's like, I got it. And I was like, okay.
Love Tim Carlson.
So yeah, so like all of this stuff that happened in game was all like, I knew that I was becoming a cleric, and that was it. I didn't even pick a god. Tim had sort of said, we'd been like, what sort of god do you like? Who do you want to follow? And I had said, I don't have a specific god in mind, but I was thinking somebody motherly.
So cool.
I thought that was the right sort of god for Kokenee, because I thought that he's a bit of a soft boy, and I think like a really like forward male god that was like, you need to like go do this, would basically be moving from like,
one bad
Alamir
dad to another.
Exactly. And even if it's like with the best intention at heart, like it's not growth. And so having a god who's just like, hey, or a goddess who's being just like, be better, be a good person,
and I'm proud of you.
And I'm proud of you was like, I think that was like the thing that I saw being like, that sort of range of gods would be cool. And so I sent out a list, like to Tim, I had like a little list. Erathis wasn't on it. It was like, I was like, I've just done like a quick back of the hand. I hadn't been like, pick one of these gods, but I'd been like something in this vein. Mm-hmm. And I think I'd mentioned like Ioun and I can't even remember.
Melora probably made it onto that one.
Stuff like that, but he picked Erathis, and I at the beginning was like, okay, but it just continued to fit, and it grew in so nicely through these sessions.
Let me tell you what I love about that, Matt.
Yeah,
is that you're talking about Kokenee being like, oh, I am so not ready for this, and I don't know about this. I didn't actually ask for this. I just kind of Michael Sarah'd my way into this situation.
Yeah.
And then there's you, Matt, being like, oh, I didn't choose this god. This is kind of what I asked for, but I don't know about this one. And so like over the course of, and which we'll discuss in Chatwater, over the course of the next 100 sessions, it's the journey of Matt and Kokenee embracing the new cleric Erathis shenanigans. That's so wonderful.
And it was lovely because I'd been sort of growing stale with the fighter, and this gave me an opportunity not just mechanically to enjoy a new class, but to actually have a very straightforward challenge presented to me of play a character who is not astonishingly confident in his abilities, but is being thrust into that role and being forced to grow in that way. And we didn't really get to talk a lot about Kokenee and Nepi's relationship. But I will say, like, one of the big parts where it came into this was that, like, Kokenee couldn't have done it alone without Nepenthe.
Unless you want to come back next week, Matt.
Yeah, come back next week.
Yeah, come back next
week.
Great.
Then I'm not talking about anything then. No more secrets.
Save it.
I think that's also a good place for us to leave it too. We're at the end of this session, and I think because I one of the purposes of having you here is be able to hear your side of the story too, because oftentimes I'm the only one who was there, so I'm often not necessarily speaking for other people, but I think this part of Kokenee's arc is so important. So if you'd willing to join us next week, we would love to
come back love nothing more.
And maybe we'll actually dig into some lore next week.
We'll because we got a little distracted.
Yeah, but it's all good stuff.